Hi, friends, and welcome to the Anniversary Podcast. I'm Mary, and this is a space where we celebrate another year, reflect on what it's taught us, and talk honestly about what it means to keep choosing each other. Anniversaries aren't just about marking time, they're about honoring growth. So today I'm here with Tabitha and Jeffrey. They're from way the frick down south because we're up here in Salt Lake, but you guys are down in Santa Quentin, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so describe how you guys met, because Jeffrey, you were before we recorded, you were saying that you moved all over the place, but you guys met at American Leadership Academy.
Yeah. Just high school is fine.
Just high school.
Short answer, high school.
Okay. So what was first impressions? Jeffrey, do you want to start?
She was loud and annoying.
Was.
Well, I like it now. We met in early morning seminary, and it was, you'd been there a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
She'd been to school for a year. It was my first day at that school because we had just moved. But I think you described the first interaction that we had the best.
It's ingrained in my memory. But what was your first impression aside from loud? I want to hear more.
I think that was it. It was loud, and I think I had an aversion to loud people at the time.
Totally. I hated him.
Interesting.
Absolutely hated him. So I remember the year before I had come to the school, and it wasn't a huge school. It was maybe 300 people total. Very small. However, I came from an eighth
Extra
grade.
Small.
Yeah, an 8th grade charter school where there were 13 kids in our class.
Oh wow.
And we had one teacher. We didn't we didn't have homeroom, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the same stuff that you get in elementary school, and then just shifted to high school. And so for me, I was this is a big intimidating school. And so in early morning seminary the next year, I'm looking around, I'm oh yeah, I think I know everybody. Oh, I don't know this kid. And so I still remember he was wearing a red button-up shirt with this matching coordinated tie and khaki pants. And it's so weird because I am not a person that's I don't know. I don't normally notice these things on people.
You were smitten by me. You just didn't know it yet.
Well, he made a lasting impression. So I just remember going up to him and saying oh, I don't know you. What's your name? And he's Jeffrey. And he's so grumpy. And so I go, I'm okay, can I call you Jeff? Is that okay? Or do you prefer Jeffrey? And he's I don't know. Is that a nickname for Jeffrey? I was what the hell, dude? I'm trying to be nice, and he can't stand me. But there are other and total nerd, the mushroom cut, the acne, the glaring, the computer hunch this. Staring up at people.
I still have that for the most part.
Yeah, but we're working on it. So he's just this, and he's so he's this grumpy troll. I'm okay, will not talk to you. But there are some people who prefer to have their full name,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just asking, just in case he's one of those people, and he's obviously you can call me Jeff. I'm will not talk to you ever. Then it turns out of our because we had early morning seminary plus our regular 10 classes. So out of 11 classes, we had 7 or 8 together.
Oh my gosh.
I could not shake this kid. Ugh. And so the weird thing too, though, is he wasn't just in the background, because he would pipe in to my friend and I are having a private conversation, and he would just chime into our conversation with something condescending and demeaning, or and of course with the glare. So he's obviously judging us. I'm this kid, not only is he in the majority of my classes, but he's also just nosy and obnoxious. So I'm okay, we're done. However, I also was in speech and debate, and I was actually really good at that. And I think I was a captain of the debate team. I don't know, something.
They had different captains for different parts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There was something more expected of me than just being in the class. And so because he was also on the debate team, I added him on Facebook and was okay, I do need to be cordial with this kid. And it was funny because then he would just start messaging me on Facebook after school. And I noticed it was every within like 30 seconds of me logging on, like he would message, hi, hello, good afternoon, like super robot formal. And I was like, you know what? This poor kid, he probably has no friends. He probably has no idea how mean he is. Like, I'm just going to give him a pity message back. And so I start being nice to him on Facebook. And we ended up becoming friends through messaging. So
Okay.
even though we went to school together, like there was like the like weird kid that I made fun of a little bit because he was mean and obnoxious and he didn't seem to like me either. But then we ended up getting to know each other as we were like having a dialogue through messaging.
Interesting.
I know, totally weird.
And so at one point did it turn from like, I guess like friends to, oh, like there's a connection here. Where was that?
I want to hear your answer. I feel like I've told this story several times, so I distinctly remember.
For me, I think because there was the initial like she's loud and annoying, but that was all. I think she was much more. She didn't like me a lot more than I didn't like her.
It's true. I was so nice to you, and you just like glared at me. So
like I didn't have a problem with you.
You're dead to me.
That's the loud, annoying girl. But that was all. But for as rude as I was, I feel like I was friendly, and I still have a sense of humor that like comes off as very rude. Like there's been times where even her sisters are like, why is Jeff being so rude? And Tab's like, oh, he's making jokes. You just don't get them.
Well, because he's very quiet and standoffish. And then when he does have something to say, typically it's serious. So then when a joke comes along and it's delivered in that same serious tone, nobody picks up on it. And they're just like, wow, he's condescending and he's a jerk. And I'm like bursting out laughing because now I get it.
Yeah. But I think we probably interacted in person the most in speech and debate. And I was socializing, if you could call it that.
Yeah.
With most of that team through Facebook or whatever, because I didn't have much to say during class and was a quiet kid. But I think I really enjoyed like what shifted it from like, oh, that's an annoying girl to like someone I like was her brain.
Yeah.
Like in speech and debate, like I was always impressed with like her skill, and then she was able to like she was coaching me, so I was able to gain a lot of knowledge and expertise in that way. And then there was kind of like a friend group there that I was kind of part of and then became more a part of over time. But I think I think the biggest part of it was just that like intellectual connection, because I'm a big nerd. So I thrive on the intellectual connection and like being able to geek out over stuff. And I'd say we started in a small way to kind of geek over speech and debate type stuff. And that's what kind of started an initial connection.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. And so how does it, because like there's always like, it sounds like it was like enemies to friends to lovers.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
What was, so because we got like kind of the enemies to friends now.
Yeah.
How did it become from friends to lovers?
So that was subtle for me at first. Neither one of us were looking to date. I think we both were very stubborn and like we knew what we wanted, and we were like planning on just being self-fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And so neither one of us were looking to date or anything. And it got to the point where I actually remember we started messaging, and then he told me to download Skype so we could like video every once in a while.
You told me to download Skype.
Oh, did I? Okay.
I would never.
That's true. You
download Skype.
You would never.
It's dinosaur technology.
I forgot about that. It was then too?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, so So just the more we started messaging, I'm more social and like talking and connecting, and he's definitely more, I don't know, just text,
would you say
message.
quality time?
Absolutely. That's my number one love language. And so I remember the first time that I remember like, okay, oh my gosh, sorry.
This
No,
is
that's
new,
okay.
apparently.
No, I told you this, I think, a long
Okay.
time ago. So there was one summer after our sophomore year where we were like enemy and then kind of friends, where he was doing cherries and he busted his butt to buy a laptop. And so he goes, oh my gosh, I have a laptop. I can message you whenever. And I tell him to download Skype. And this is our first video call. And he's just in a white t-shirt and he'd been like working freaking hard. And I just remember his
Sexy.
It was because his laptop was, I think, like on his chest and he was leaning like this. And I just remember seeing the defined like muscle and I was like, oh, he's kind of a hot nerd now. And he still wasn't like not the typical hot of what everyone would classify, you know? But it was like, oh, I am absolutely like attracted to him and it's physical as well. And so it was that summer that I just realized that I was like, I think I like this kid. And it officially turned to love in our junior year, like about halfway through. So in November was like a girl ass boy dance. And one of our girlfriends came up to me and was like, can I invite Jeff to this dance? I'm like, yes. You know, like that's...
I don't know, can you? Do you need help?
Well, I was like, yes, why are you asking me? And she's like, because you guys are kind of a thing. And I'm like, we're best friends. Like we, you know, at this point I hung out at his house all the time. And like, they would even pick me up for like an early morning class and just went out of his way to do just like to help me and to spend more time together. And so it's funny thinking back because I'm still like, oh my gosh, does he know?
I can see the blush in your cheeks.
Because I was so oblivious to it that I was like just best friends with him. And she's like, was that your foot? Oh,
sorry.
No. And so I was like, this is probably something that a lot of people assume that we're a thing just because we're best friends, but nothing's happening. And she goes, no, Tabitha, you're a thing. And I'm like, okay, how am I oblivious to this? Like, how do I not know? And she goes, that boy is in love with you. Like he is in love with you. And I'm like, no, like you're seeing it all wrong. We're just friends. And she goes, Tabitha, anytime like you have something to say in the classes that we share together, like, because she was in a couple of our classes too, she goes, that boy like jumps up or like is the first to speak up, and it's the first, like he jumps at any opportunity to like interact with you or help you. And she's like, and that's beside the fact that you already know that you're best friends. Like, you know, he watches you, he like is looking at you and he adores you essentially. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was already past the point where I just was attracted to him. And so she planted that little idea into my head and she took him to the Sadie's dance. And I watched for a couple of weeks. So the Sadie's dance was in like November. And I watched him for a couple weeks. And what she said was totally true. Like anytime I think I was like, oh crap, I forgot a pencil. And he like booked it across the room. And he's like, you can have mine. And I was like, thank you. Do you have like an extra one in your backpack? And he's like, nope, I don't need one. And you can tell he's like,
I didn't take notes anyway.
He's like processing it as he's like, take my pen. And I was like, okay, thank you. Like, so just little things like that. And then I kind of started testing it out. So I was like, is this kid like actually, is he giving me like special treatment from in our friend group?
It sounds like the Princess Bride. It's like, water or
farm
boy, fetch me a pitch of water,
right?
As you wish.
But I'm somebody that's like, oh man, I forgot my water, and he's like, I'll get it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then there are different things. Like I already knew that he doesn't share chocolate or fries with anybody, like ever. That's not a thing.
Okay.
And
I
so
like
there
my
was
French fries.
So there's one time that like he went with a friend to go grab Wendy's for a lunch break, and I just was like, I'm just gonna see what he'll do. And so this is like one of our friends is on the other side of him and he tries to slide his hand and he smacks it. And he's like, get away. Nobody shares my fries. And I was like, nobody? And I reached over and he just looks at me and he's like, how much do you want? And I just sat there and I'm like, just one? Like, I don't even want fries. I just wanted to see what you would do. And then there was another hangout where we watched what was it, Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah, probably.
I don't remember. And then we all ran outside with our bare feet and we ran back inside and I was like, oh my gosh, my feet are numb. And he started massaging my feet. And I was like, oh, he does like me. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I am in love with this kid. And at this point, I either need to just stop being friends with him altogether or I need to like date him exclusively because I like couldn't stop thinking about him. Mm-hmm. And that was the point where it was just like, oh, I want this kid to be in my life forever. You know, so it really wasn't even the typical like, let's date and see where it goes. It was like, nope, you are my best friend and I want you in my life forever. And then shifted into something romantic after that. And then by December 15th, I think we had become an official couple. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sorry, I got a lot of detail.
It's okay. I love it.
She's a good storyteller.
It is a great story to tell because I think sometimes when you hear those like high school sweetheart relationships, it's like this fairy tale that a lot of people aspire to because you see it in the movies and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, that's so cool. But I think
it's glorified.
It totally
is. It's like glorified young love. And
when you're going through like all sorts of stuff as a teenager. So like to throw that in the mix is like,
right?
It's a lot.
Yeah. And it sounds like you guys have developed a whole lot more since
totally
like that time. And so
I would hope so.
And so what?
We're still the same people though.
Yeah, you're still
loud. I'm still quiet.
That's true.
And so what did you guys do when you like were in a relationship and you like were starting to figure out life after high school? Because I feel like high school is its own little like bubble.
Yes,
exactly. And college is its own endeavor, and like life after high school is its own endeavor, whatever you decide to do. And so how did you guys go from boyfriend, girlfriend to being like, yes, I want to marry you?
I don't think we did go from boyfriend, girlfriend to I want to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
It was best friends, I want to marry you.
Okay.
So
I guess we'll become boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do first.
So he told me.
We're teenagers.
He told me at 17 that he was going to marry me.
Okay.
And I was like, all boys say that. I'm like, wait a minute. No boys usually say that. They don't usually have that like long committal decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you told me at 17 that you were going to marry me. And for me, I looked at it and like assumed that we would be just a high school fling. Because it was like, oh, I genuinely love you. And these things never work out. Like I'm already, I don't know. I'm the type of person that looks for like the red flags and is like worst case scenario type of person. So it's like, well, I love you so much and it's not going to work. There's going to be something that just like makes this not doable anymore. And so he's on cloud 9 and I'm like, this is nice, but it's not going to last. And so he was already at that point when we started dating. And then he went on an LDS mission. I ended up like going to school for a bit, moved out into like student housing, kind of figured out my own thing. And it was when he was on his mission that I dated a bit and really just I found a bunch of like a-hole people that I couldn't stand.
Yeah.
I was pretty lucky.
Well, because I'm like, this is high school. Like, I don't want to settle for something that's just like I don't want to look back and be like, oh, it was good enough, you know? And I'm like, and there's no way that we found, you don't find your partner the first try. You just don't. And so when I was dating around, I like find a bunch of people that I don't like and what's not working for me. And then I find a couple of, decent people. And I realized that one person that I really did like, and I was dating probably a little more exclusively, a little more serious when I was like 21, is when he came back from his mission. And I just remember looking and like, this guy is older, which is generally my preference anyways, just like older, taller is more attractive to me, and he's like 2 inches taller than me. I really wanted like somebody that was, I guess, more serious about like having a plan instead of just like, oh, it'd be cool to do this, or eventually I would do, like Jeff was a dreamer and I was very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was preferring to find a partner that was more serious too. And so I found that in this guy that I was kind of dating, and it just, my heart wasn't in it. And that was the first time that I was like, damn it, I am in love with this nerd from high school. And I just want to marry him. And so when he got back from his mission, the first night that he got back, he like sat next to me, and then he like put his hand on my thigh, and I was like, whoa, okay, he's jumping into things. And then 2 months later we were engaged.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like it was an easy decision though, on your part.
Once I decided it, like she kind of described like we were best friends and we couldn't be that anymore in her mind, so we had to move on. And in my mind it was like, we're best friends, I don't want to ruin this. For a while I was like, well, let's stay this way, because if we get together something might go wrong and then I'll lose my best friend. But then as things progressed, it went more like, okay, this is progressing. And I did think about, I'm like, hey, this is what I want. Like, I think hard about things. I don't make decisions easily. So once I decided. And I don't think I've ever considered changing my mind or like anything like that. So when I was like, I decided it, and I'm sure, and I'm still sure. And she took a while to figure it out, and I kept telling her that that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
we say take a while, but we got married at like what, 21?
Yeah, it took
We were still little when we got married.
Compared to me.
Right.
It sounds like you guys are like best friends even now, because I think and like this is something that I've had to overcome, is like there's a difference between like a best friend and someone that is supposed to be your forever partner. And like, I don't know why, like for the longest time growing up, like I separated the two, but like as I've grown up over the years, it's like kind of conjoined, where like your friendship doesn't end when your relationship, like romantic relationship starts.
Right. Well, and think about like people who do start solely on a romantic relationship level. I would imagine that would be harder to continue like a longer term relationship, because the romance dies down. And it's like, that's something that I say that as if it's inevitable, but really it's a choice. And you don't realize that it's a choice until you kind of go through this like cycle of, oh, we're good, we're not so good. And then you start to recognize your patterns, and you're like, oh, no, it's a choice, and it's a daily action, and it's an intention. And so, yeah, for us, it just clicked. It just made sense.
I think the things are the best between us when we're acting more as best friends. Yeah. Like when we see each other that way versus a spouse. Like they're both true, but when I treat you more as a best friend, I think like our relationship is at its like on the higher end.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, well, my heart just did a little like, you know, those like gifs where it's like the heart eyes like popping out, or like the heart is like popping out. That's what my heart just did, because I think that's so.
I feel that way all the time.
Oh, whoa, shucks. Save it for the room. Save it for your house, guys.
Pause the recording real quick.
Oh my God.
We'll be back. You could cut that out if you want.
We will. She was like, don't you worry. Oh my God.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Jeffrey.
We'll get that. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
I think with being best friends, like you were saying, Tabitha, is like you have to go through those ups and downs together. And if you don't have that solid foundation of friendship and knowing how to communicate with each other and knowing what makes the other person tick and what makes the other person grumpy, like you have to work through that and figure that out as like friends.
Yeah.
A little bit. And so walk me through some of those times for you guys where you've had to like rely on your friendship to get through hard things.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I've been like patiently waiting for you to answer first, but I love this one. So I think based on the background that I came from, the way that I looked at things with that red flag perception, like waiting for things to get bad, waiting for the other shoe to drop, really just kept me on guard from everybody. And some people will say like, oh, I'm this way with some people but I'm this way in my relationships. And I believe that you are the same person, and you can have different like varying degrees of when you're activated or when you show up as your best self or whatever. With the rest of the world, I felt like I was extremely guarded. And with him, it was like, oh, but you're my closest person. You're my best friend. You're my everything. And it was a couple years into marriage that I realized, it was probably 6 years into the marriage, actually, that I was going through like personal development and just growth and focusing on the way I'm showing up in the world. And I realized that as close of a relationship as he is to me, because this was the closest relationship I've ever had and had ever been in, I was still guarding myself in some ways, which was actually prohibiting us from becoming deeper and closer. And so that was really painful for me, because it was like, I'm showing up the best way I know how, and I had no idea that I was guarded with him. And so when I recognized that, it was really painful, because it was like this person has adored me forever, and through my feeling like, oh, this is going to work out, never mind, we should just forget it, and like being wishy-washy because I had not had like secure relationships or safety in them before, he was super patient with me through all of that. And anytime I was like up, down, not sure, and he was just totally neutral in terms of like patient and kind, and okay, you figure it out. And so when I was when we've been married for about 6 years, and I realized that there still were things that I had kept my guard up, like in regards to him, that was one thing that was really difficult for me, because it was like, I'm not doing this on purpose. You know, like I can see that there are ways that if I were a different person, or if I had a different, personality trait or whatever, this wouldn't be a problem. But it's like, okay, this is a part of me that I don't know how to shift. I'm being as open as I know how to. And so the coolest tool that I've learned in all of this is to look back at the data, like in terms of the person that you are, I don't know, in terms of like the relationship that you are reflecting on.
The person you're looking at.
Yeah.
Versus the exact situation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So rather than having this like shameful perception of me, like I should have a better personality, or I shouldn't be so guarded or whatever, it was so cool to be able to say, okay, what do I know about Jeff? And be like, okay, the last 6 years in like ups and downs and figuring things out and having hardships and whatever, like this man has always come to just like this perception of how do we make us work. And it was so easy for him, it felt like, to say, okay, like how do you need me to show up better? How would you like me to improve? And looking at all of that data and saying, oh, actually he has shown up that way, like throughout our entire marriage and even in high school, like he has shown up for me time and again and again and again. I was able to take that data and realize like he is an incredibly trustworthy person. I'm allowed to let my guard down and trust him more. And so it wasn't that I needed to change and I needed to like be a different person, or even like criticize myself for being a different person, or for not being the person I thought I should be. I was able to look at the data and say, okay, based off of the entire marriage and everything that we have gone through, this is the way that he shows up time and time again. So I get to be able to take that data and remind myself of it every time I feel like I want to withdraw, I want to pull back, or I want to like put my guard up against him. And so that's been the coolest thing, is like this has been a foundational friendship, and the love has come from like loving one another as people first. And so using that as my data, that can help me kind of just back off when I'm like wanting to be reactive. So I think that was like a really long way to explain it.
I liked it.
It's for me, it's like I've had a very hard time trusting people in general. And so being able to look at him and say, here's what I know about him, therefore I can kind of prove to myself that I already know what his pattern or his behavior is going to be based off of the past. Mm-hmm. And so then realizing that it's like, nope, he's always shown up for me as a best friend first, no matter what. And I can trust from here on out that will always happen because it already has happened. So using it as data has been very helpful for me.
I love that. Jeff, what do you think?
I think you nailed it.
Thanks.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
That was like, kind of long. No offense.
How did you guys, like, as like in a romantic relationship, lean on being best friends through those kind of down moments in your relationship when like things were hard maybe, or like there wasn't much of a connection? Like, how did you guys rely on your friendship to kind of get you through those times?
I think the biggest thing is remembering it.
Yeah.
Because we kind of get into the grind of like, especially with all the kids, and like we kind of get into the flow of life of like, here's what we do, we're doing, get through the day, like
divide and conquer.
Yeah, like I'll take the kids, you work, or she takes the kids while I do my thing, or I take the kids while she does her thing. And a lot of tag teaming, or a lot of like we're each living our lives. And then I think that's when we become the most distant, is like not because we're fighting or not because we're arguing, but just because we're not connecting as friends. And then as a result, that's when the conflict or the struggles start, is because all there is just, hey, how you doing? And then like not paying a lot of attention to each other as friends. And then when things come up that are hard, there's not that friendship, like, oh, let's work through this together. It's like, oh, we're angry, or I'm mad, or this is hard, or like whatever.
Or feeling like you're alone in it.
Yeah, feeling alone. But I think just the biggest thing is remembering to be friends.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest things we've talked about lately is like, why don't we play more? Like just play a board game, or go outside and go for a hike, or like whatever, like interact in a more playful way versus
have it be so serious.
Yeah. And that really helps with not having to go through the harder stuff, because the harder stuff is easier when you're doing it with a friend and you're seeing it that way and remembering that that's how it is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same answer as you.
I like you. You just condensed it so well, though.
Sometimes that happens, and it seems like you guys have like really grown into that knowledge, because I think sometimes relationships, you just have to grow, and you have to like experience things. You have to experience what the other person is like in a certain situation to kind of adjust how you're like reacting to a situation. And so what has one way that you've seen each other grow, and how has that growth changed and helped your relationship?
I'd say we both, but I'll speak for me. I'll speak for my perception. but like we've opened up a lot more. Like she said earlier, she was very on guard a lot. And then for me, I was just like emotionally repressed for most of my childhood. And it took years to get out of that. And so she'd be like, why aren't you excited about this? Or why aren't you upset about this thing that happened? I'm like, I am. She's like, you sure don't look like it.
He's like, wow, this is really upsetting. I'm pissed. What?
And I think having that person that I do feel safe around, and as I've learned to feel feelings and express myself, and having that person that I feel safe, like being upset or being super excited about something or whatever, has allowed me to grow in that sense and become more in touch with myself, which I think also allows us to connect more because I'm more of a human being at that point. But yeah, I think a lot of it has just been kind of like getting more in touch with my emotional side and allowing that to affect all of my relationships and improve all of my relationships. And I'd say that's probably the way you've helped me to grow the most.
What about my growth? I want to hear what you think.
Was it about...
Wait, it doesn't matter.
It can be both.
Okay.
I wasn't meaning to say you had answered it incorrectly. I was saying I love your insight, and I want your insight about me.
Okay. I'd say a lot of the similar, because you were probably a lot more in touch with your emotions, but you were guarded and closed off a lot more.
I was emotional. I don't know if I was like in touch with my emotions.
You're very emotional. I don't know. I'm just being rude.
Oh, okay.
That's my rude humor.
Okay.
But I'd say your ability to open up and be more vulnerable with me, even in this past couple of years, has gone up a lot. And then with other people in general, because I feel like you've always been willing to share lots of things with everyone, but it's always been more surface level, or like, here's my spiel about our life, and here's how it's been easy, and here's how it's been hard, but in a way that's not as vulnerable or connecting.
Oh, like I would say like, here's something that was hard, but it's better now, type of thing. Okay.
And now you're able to like come in a more vulnerable way and share with people and connect with people in that way, and with me as well.
Thanks. I like that. Okay. Say the question again.
How have you guys, in what way have you seen each other grow?
Yeah, see, it was about each other.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Because we did talk about how you have like opened up and you kind of became unguarded. Was there anything else that you've kind of like grown to or like learned over the years that's helped you grow closer?
So I would say at first, we had a codependent relationship, and being so in love in high school also stemmed from us being, feeling like misunderstood or kind of alone or the oddballs, and finding each other was very exciting and comforting, and it was nice to have a companion. And I also am like a huge believer in the way that you find your partner is often the way that they represent like a parental figure that I would say like either enabled certain behaviors or ignored certain needs of yours, or some way that this person feels familiar to you, whether it is, a good or bad. And so that was loud. And so being able to realize that it was like, I think one of the reasons I was so grateful for him and really loved him is because like I had no self-esteem, I had no confidence, and he saw that in me. And for me, that wasn't romantic. That wasn't like, oh, you see something in me when I can't. It's like, there seems to be something missing here. That doesn't seem healthy to me. That like if you have a partner that you do see value in, it doesn't seem healthy for them to see no value in themselves. Like,
and to kind of I think we got each other our value from the other.
Totally. We got our validation from each other and our everything from each other, and so it's very, very codependent. And so him going and serving a mission was great, just for having distance and to kind of figure things out on our own. And then when we did get married, there was also still an element of codependency, and being able to address that in a way that didn't feel like such it didn't feel so shaming. It didn't feel like it was something that we should be embarrassed about, but rather something that we could actually look at and say, oh, of course there's going to be some codependency because we met so young and had each other's needs met by one another. And then the more that we start functioning as adults and are like improving and raising a family, we're looking at these like patterns and behaviors that we're both exhibiting, and it's like, oh, hold on, this has been something that we've done for a while, and now it feels out of place compared to like where we're going and how we're growing. And so it's been nice to focus on that. The way that I've seen growth the most was actually a really I feel like I don't mean to, but I do things that like the hard way every damn time, and it's so frustrating.
It's the scenic route.
I love that. I love that. It's the scenic route, and I can tell you every nook and cranny. I love that.
It's off-road, but it's the scenic route.
I was really frustrated for a long time that he didn't want the same growth that I did, because I wanted that like entrepreneurial lifestyle, and that was something that we had talked about in high school that like he had wanted as well. And now with 3 kids and him being able to work from home and settle into this life, he's like, I'm good slowing down, I'm good being here, being present, like enjoying and being grateful. And I'm like, that's a sack of shit. Like, I was so mad. I was like, yeah, we built this, obviously, like where else can we go? And I was so mad that I was like, I feel like my partner betrayed me, because we were going to like go into business together and we were going to, have kids and do all of the things. And I was so frustrated that he wasn't growing in my mind. And it took a lot of understanding myself and realizing how reactive I was and how trauma really shapes the way that you see things. And so for me, I was rushing. And a lot of it did have to do with like passion and interest. And a lot of it was also driven by anxiety and an inability to like rest and feel safe and be calm and just be in the present. And so as soon as I learned that that was something I needed to work on, I suddenly just like had this shift of perspective and saw that he has been growing this entire time. And it's like, I feel like he has this slow incline of growth, and I'm like, and it's like, oh, I get it now. And so then I look at him and it's like, he's been growing this entire time, just in different ways. And he feels comfortable enough to say, I changed my mind, without that feeling wrong. And so now I look at him and he is homeschooling all 3 of our girls. And he will more often than not be the one to say, okay, here's the plan for the day. Here's how we're going to operate as a family. I can't remember the last time I've done a load of laundry, or I do dishes intermittently, but he's the one that takes charge of that. And I realize that has stemmed from his growth of being emotionally available and seeing that it's like, ooh, this is the stuff that really, really wears Tabitha. This is the stuff that she likes. And here's how I can help and really just help her thrive in our family as well. So like, not just, oh, he's a great dad, but it's like he sees our family as he lives for our family. Like he adores our family. We are his whole world. And it's not just family in a clump. He sees every one of us individually, and then just like steps in, is like, how can I help support you? How can I help you grow? How can I help you like live out the dream that you want to? And so it's just incredible to see that his growth has been really understanding his value inherently. And then looking at how he can use who he is as a way to help like elevate and lift others.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been like such a beautiful thing, that instead of wanting a similar partner, I'm like really thankful that I have somebody who was and is a dreamer and is totally fine with going with the flow and figuring out like, oh, this doesn't work, so I'm going to try something else, rather than that like rigidity. And so the growth that I've seen is like me having to shift my perspective first and foremost, and then second off, just realizing the growth that you've had to do to be emotionally available, and to see you actually open up and say, I want to slow down, I want to connect, which wasn't there like the first probably 4 years of our marriage, which is really tough. And
I was very go, get whatever done.
or just hide away and I'm going to work. And he would just shut himself in an office and just kind of out of sight, out of mind, and kind of checked out. And so to see him be present in that way has been cool too. So
do you feel like that proximity to each other and like to your family has helped you guys kind of come closer? Because
physical proximity?
Like physical proximity.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
When we first bought our house, it was like, oh, awesome, we'll have 3 bedrooms and this will be great. And again, hit a point where I was upset because I was like, how is this space so seemingly small? And I was really frustrated. I was like, we need a bigger house. And he's like, babe, I worked hard to get us this house. And I was like, I know, and it doesn't feel like it's good enough anymore.
We've been there like 6 months.
I know. And then I realized again, I have a lot of like aha moments where I'm like, I hate everything. And I'm like, oh, never mind, it's fine. So working on that too, being able to see though that the kids are homeschooled, he works from home, and then I'm a massage therapist I have been a massage therapist and have been shifting into more of this coaching now, but we're basically a full-time family. Like we have 5 people plus our pets living in our home, like from sun up till sundown, and then we sleep there. So it's like I had this awesome shift of realizing that we don't have 3 bedrooms for our stuff. We have 3 bedrooms, and one of them is an office and a schoolroom, and we have a playroom, and we have 3 girls in 1 bedroom. And at first it was like, but that's not the way you're supposed to do it. They need their own space. And again, that rigidity. And then realizing it's like, wait a minute, they don't have a bedroom that all their stuff belongs in. The only thing that they use their bedroom for is for sleeping. And the rest of our house is open for the family. And so then seeing that shift, that it was like, oh, it's not that our house is small. It's that we use our house in so many ways. It's not just a dwelling. It's also the school and the work and the everything, that it suddenly became just more
full of life.
Yeah. More, I would say like more sentimental to me when I realized that it was like, oh, of course it's going to feel crammed. Look at what we're doing. Look at how we're living. And it's like, we have a life unlike anybody else that I know. So that was a really cool awareness too.
I love that. And it seems like you guys just have like a great, like you were saying, like the tag team, and like while it can kind of create that distance, it also helps you feel supported with one another. And so it just seems like you guys are like the yin to each other's yang a little bit.
I love that.
And
love it.
And so I guess I kind of wanted to wrap things up here. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and I hope this has been like a good experience for you guys.
It.
Yeah, it's been good.
Okay, I'm so glad. Okay, so these are my like 3 final questions that I ask everyone. They're a little bit like reflective / advice-y kind of questions. So first question is, when things get hard, what is the core reason, that one thing about your partner in your life together that makes giving up not an option?
I'd say she's my home base. Like, I'm definitely the introverted one, and I feel like, at least my perception, an introvert needs like a place to like feel safe and cozy, and she's part of that. Like where she is part of that. Like if I'm home alone, I'm like, this is lonely. Like, this is boring. Like, but when she's there, like, that's my home. And so I forgot the question. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's like, what's that one thing about your partner in your life together that makes giving up not an option?
Got it. They're like, yeah, she's my home. She's my safe place. And crazy about her. Like, I love spending time with her. I love talking to her. Like, I think one of the things we both most enjoy is that we'll just talk for hours, and then in the morning we have to wake up. But,
I legit, okay. Okay, so he was asleep last night. Do you remember this?
I don't know.
He was asleep last night, and I was winding down, but also watching a couple of like shorts on YouTube. And
I was like sleep deprived, so I was like unconscious.
He was out. And I saw a video that made me laugh so hard, and I like cackled and I couldn't stop. And he woke up, and I was like, I'm sorry to wake you, but I'm not even sorry. You have to watch this video right now. But I laughed for like a solid minute, and he couldn't care less about like the video or whatever. But it was really sweet, because then I thought after he had gone to sleep, and I'm still laughing at this video, I just hear this, I love your laugh. And then he like went back to sleep. I'm like, that's so cute. Like, he doesn't even know what the heck I'm gaggling about. And like, he's just like, you weirdo, I love you. Like,
I think it is that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, like my life revolves, like she said, around my family, and I really enjoy spending time with her in every single way. And so that's like, she's become a core part of my life, I think, is probably the biggest thing. And gotta keep her.
I hope so. 3 kids later.
I just barely decided that.
He's like, yeah, we could do this long term. Sure.
Sounds good.
So for me, I have often considered quitting, like frequently. And finding out that when I'm scared, I typically will avoid. That was really hard for me to grasp and actually like come to that understanding, because when I think of like the ideal me and like who I want to be, it's like, oh, I want to just have an opinion and know it and not care about, you know, the chatter or the background noise or other opinions. Like, I just want to know my stuff and stick to it. And if I change my mind, it's going to be because I want to. And so a lot of the growth that I had like just begged for in the first few years, I was like begging for growth and begging for deeper and more, and just like this desire for more intimacy, more connection, more of him. There actually was a point where I said this like regularly to him: I don't want more from you, I want more of you. That like when I say I want more, he's like, how? I'm so exhausted. Like, I'm doing everything that you can possibly think of, like everything you've asked. And it's like, actually, I want more of you. Like, let's figure out how to slow down and help me figure out how to be present like he is with the kids. And I want to be part of that bandwagon. And so there came a point where I realized that he didn't need me. And
I just said I need you. Sorry,
that's not what I'm talking about, though. He didn't need me. He was able to be a fully functioning father, a fully functioning like provider. He's an independent person. He knows how to take care of his kids, and he has a wife. And I felt like I was just this added along for the ride in this like negative way. And then it got to a point where I realized I'm not needed in terms of what I can do for him or how I can be productive or how I can perform, or it has nothing to do with doing. It has everything to do with I am needed because the connection that we have and the depth and the growth that we have finally achieved and are like loving and striving for more of is the thing that's keeping us together. It's not a codependency anymore. And it's not, oh shoot, we're strapped financially, or well, we have 3 kids, we might as well make the marriage work.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the most intimate phase of our marriage got to what became established when we realized that we didn't need each other, we wanted each other, and it was like just for companionship, like solely for that person. And so being able to look at him and say, I trust him and I trust me, and I can trust that if he needs something, he'll communicate that with me, and I don't have to guess or walk on eggshells or any of that past stuff. And with him, it's like I was so scared that he was, walling up and becoming emotionally distant. And it was like, I have to trust him and know that if he wants this relationship to thrive as much as I do, that he will use his voice and come to me. That's his job. And my job is to take that breath and to calm and not take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being reactive, look at him as, again, a best friend rather than the spouse that made him upset or hurt him,
Mm-hmm.
and really just hold that space for him and be like, okay, I can see your side of it. And now it's my turn to take the accountability rather than, okay, I'm looking at you at the target and I'm ready to attack. So being able to just have that desire, I think, has been something that we found when we were 17 and then got lost a little bit as we were growing and figuring things out, and then has been rekindled, and we're like, oh yeah, this is why we started it, and this is why we're here,
Yeah.
I love that. So, okay. And you guys have kind of touched on this a little bit, where like you guys have had like your ups and downs and everything. And it sounds like you guys have been really, really like just in tune with each other, even though like there are times where like you might be like closed off or like you're working through things. You guys have just, for me, like from what I've seen and what you shared today, is like you guys just seem like you guys have like the same goals in mind and like the same ending point in mind, and you guys are best friends just doing it together. And so I love that. So when you guys have those like ups and downs, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what is one practice or mindset that has helped you guys the most in choosing to stay close when you're in those moments of disconnection, when you guys were kind of like growing and figuring things out? What helped you stay close?
I have a quick answer for this one for me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The quick answer really is understanding the basic needs in terms of like human development,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that like play and physical touch are 2 things that are super grounding to children and should still be something that's like very comforting when you're older. For me, I did not find play as freeing. It felt really scary to me because I had to grow up really quickly, and when I played, it was like I'm waiting for something scary to happen. And physical touch also was not something that was safe, like from a very, very young age. And so for me, allowing myself to hold space for 2 feelings of, number 1, I don't want to play, I don't want to be touched, and allowing that to be heard and understood. And it's like, yeah, of course you don't want to play. Of course you don't want to be touched, because those things were deemed unsafe, or, when you displayed that behavior of being playful, there was pain, or you got in trouble, or it was like this negative conditioning. And then the second part is holding that space of, I call this the yes and. Like, yes, I'm healing this, and that's not what I want going forward. That's not what I want in my marriage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not what I want for me, to never play. I have felt like I've always been this like extremely playful person, and the more that I had allowed trauma to just kind of consume me, I just became really small and was like hard as a rock. And so to hold that yes and rather than you shouldn't dislike touch. You should just let him touch you. You should tolerate it. It's holding space for both. Like, hey, I'm having a really hard time being touched right now. And I would actually like to get to a point where I feel like I could both give and receive a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, okay, what do you need? How can I show up? How can I make that happen? And it's like, oh, could we just go in a different room from the kids? Like, it could be as simple as that. Like, can we just like maybe decrease the noise? Or, and it's realizing just like that progression. And I feel like that beautiful part of healing where you can see the old pattern, or you can see the way that your body wants to react, and you can take that pause or hold that space to see something different. And so being able to recognize that in myself has allowed me to say, oh, hey, I could use your help right now. Help me to help us and become closer. And so that's been really nice. And over probably the last like year, especially in the last 6 months, I have been loving like physical touch. And I think you said this a couple days ago that you're like, you are really lovey lately for the first time in a long time. I was like, thank you for noticing. Like, I have been helping myself like feel safe and just allow it to like welcome it. And again, to look at that data of who he is and who is touching me and how he has always touched me in a safe way. And so it's been like, that has been such a nice thing to now look at in the past rather than the current, I don't like being touched. It's now oh, that was something I struggled with, and it's getting easier as we hold that yes and.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
That was my short answer.
I think for me, a lot of it is like remembering to slow down and be in the present. Because a lot of life, it's so easy. Like I think I said at the beginning, like, oh, this is happening in work. I got to get this done. Or then you get home and then, or I'm at home still, like work is at home. So it feels harder to.
Then I go all the way home.
all
the way down those damn stairs.
But it's hard to make that disconnect from like what's going on in one aspect of your life to what's happening right now to what might be happening in the future to whatever. And remembering just to like be here in the moment. Because if you're always like, okay, well, tomorrow we got to do this. It's like, okay, so how are you going to connect with your spouse when your mind is 100% focused on something else all the time? So kind of like the idea of like stop and smell the flowers. Like,
yeah.
And I think the kids help a lot with that for me.
Totally.
Is like, they just play.
They're a huge
all
inspiration
day,
for both
and
of us.
it's like, oh, I don't have to be freaking out about this, or I don't have to worry about cleaning right now or whatever. Like, I'm just going to sit and play with the kids and, hey, Tabitha, come sit and play with us. And allowing that to remind me of like, oh, let's be kids together, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, or let's just go outside and like sit on the grass and chat. Like that type of stuff, I think really helps me when like to stay connected and also to reconnect after like the down.
Yeah.
And make it back into an up.
And sometimes downs are just hard seasons.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not very often that you and I are struggling with each other.
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, it's like there's mental health, or there's just a lot of stress, or there's a chaotic time in our family. And a lot of the down is just, to me, like a lack of connection.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, remembering to slow down creates that connection.
Totally.
Take the scenic route.
Take the scenic route.
Aww.
I love that.
That could be our theme.
Take the scenic route.
Maybe we'll walk or take a paved scenic route. But.
I like that.
I love that because, I mean, I am a huge like road tripper. I also love driving, and I just love going down like canyons. And I think a lot of times people just are so focused on getting to the destination, and it's like,
that was me.
It's so like the corny quote where it's like, focus on the journey, not the destination. Yeah. But like really focusing on the journey. And so I'm a huge fan of fall and Big Cottonwood Canyon every year. Like the aspens turn this golden yellow,
Yes.
golden orange. I don't even know what it is.
It's a hue. It's like a bright hue.
Exactly. And like, it was my first time going up there and seeing the aspens turn that color. And I just was like, oh, my jaw just dropped, because I don't know, like I've never really taken the time to just take the scenic route and like enjoy like what's in front of you and enjoy the beauty where it's at.
Yeah.
And so that's beautiful. And so this is kind of like, this is the last question, and this is a little bit more of like a reflective question. We've done a lot of reflecting and kind of like hoping like and seeing what's kind of looking forward to the future. And it sounds like you guys have a great life ahead of you with your 3 daughters. And so knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourselves on the day that your relationship first began?
With him?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think I'd listen.
Really?
To myself. Like, I don't know.
You're overthinking it. If you knew you from future were talking to you, you would believe it.
That's fair. That's a great question. I think it's a lot of stuff, kind of what we've already said, but kind of like going along with the idea of like, slow down a little, be present, is like let go of the rigidity of like what life is supposed to look like according to whatever impression you were given, and let go of all the rigidity, and find what I want and communicate that and go for it. Because I think a lot of hangups for me were like just trying to do things the way I was supposed to, like
The right way.
yeah, like I went straight from my mission to college, and then it took a while, but eventually I was like, why am I in college? Like, I have a good career already. Like, I got a job as a software developer. It was actually, school was holding me back in my job because my boss is like, when can you work full time? We want more from you. We want to pay you more. And I eventually dropped out of college, and I don't regret
Eventually.
that.
It was the first semester.
But it was a lot of like, it was a lot of struggle.
Yeah.
To like,
in terms
to
of
make that
timeline, it was
choice.
short, but the mental load was heavy.
And that semester was rough because I was like doing so much that was like, you're supposed to be working, you're supposed to be like doing school and
doing it all.
I was like, oh, I'll take a ton of credit so I can get everything done. And I think that's an example, but like a lot of life has been like that, of like, oh, you're supposed to do this. So I put so much effort into it versus pausing, like, what is the value of this? Why do I want this, or do I want this? And where does it lie in relation to my other values? Like, is this value really one that I want to be focusing on right now? Or is it just, oh, that would be cool? Because there's nothing wrong with, like in that example, like there's nothing wrong with college, but it wasn't my top value at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that goes like with marriage or with kids or with work, or like the way the world or the people around you say your priorities should be. And you kind of just accept that versus figure it out yourself, what your priorities and your values are, and then go for it.
I really like you. Just listening, I'm like, I love this.
We should be on a podcast.
We should be friends. Did we just become best friends?
Want to go out sometime?
So, let me gather my thoughts.
I didn't hear a no about going out.
Oh, yeah, we're going out after this. Yes. Let's see.
Got a date.
Score. Proud of you. There's so much that I want to say to her, and at the same time, I I realize that there's like a part of me that just wants to go back and like save her from things.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that because that's her job to figure out.
It's the journey.
That's up to her to figure out. And she doesn't need another person telling her what to do or what they should do, or what they think she should do. I think I don't know if this would be like something I'd tell her on the first day of meeting, but maybe like within that time period of high school, it's just that it's okay to dream, and it's okay to be in love and to dream about where that might take you, and to not be so scared that you have found somebody that you want to spend forever with. That there isn't a right or wrong in terms of picking a partner if they work for you. And I'd just say probably if I could tell her just to trust herself, because I think I knew what I wanted as soon as you did, and I felt like I had been so worried about looking like a fool in terms of like being in love and then getting heartbroken and whatever else, because naturally I was like that person that always kept my guard up. And so if I could just tell her that it's okay to let your guard down with people that you are like yearning to be closer with, it's okay to let your guard down.
I love that.
I love that too. And you fell hard for the boy with that looked all sweaty,
The
and
hunchback.
The hunchback.
The troll. Yes.
So thank you guys again for coming on.
Totally.
Tabitha, you are a financial behavior coach. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure.
She's so cool.
Thanks. Do you want me to tell a little bit about me and how I started it, or what I do now?
Just what you do and how can people find you?
Awesome. So Jeff and I both came from very different financial backgrounds, and neither one of them like super great. And so jumping into marriage, naturally the first thing that we should do is put our wedding on credit cards. So we did. And it took us a long time of living off of like waiting for the paycheck so we could pay off the credit card so we could put rent on it. And then going out and being like, you know what? We don't care. Let's go splurge. Let's spend money. Let's whatever. And really just having this volatile relationship with money. And it wasn't until I was pregnant with our first daughter that I realized, oh my gosh, we are responsible in teaching this human being, and we want her to be like not just a little better off than us, but like we want to like
give her the world.
Yeah, we want to give her everything. We want to do our absolute best so that she can have the absolute best. And it got to a point where we looked into a couple of like financial gurus' recommendations. We started off like getting our debt paid off by following the Dave Ramsey steps. And when I was pregnant with my second, I realized that we were so good at the Ramsey plan and sticking to it because we were already in such a scarce mindset. And so it was like, oh, we can absolutely justify not buying shampoo, like, or we can just buy a 2-in-1 because we don't need the luxury of having a shampoo and conditioner. Like just little things that were like, this is kind of borderline like self-neglect. And we got really good at that because that's what we both knew. Mm-hmm. And there came a point where I was pregnant with the second, and I had put like $4,000 towards paying off a debt. And I was like, that could have gone towards a savings. That could have gone towards something building up our lives instead of focusing on tearing something down or like getting rid of a mistake, that could have gone towards building up and like actually having a value-led life versus eliminating fear, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, I distinctly remember like sitting on our front porch and I was like, this is so stupid. I'm not doing this anymore. And we ended up designing our own system that works for both of our brains. So we budget very differently. I mean, we understand things differently. And now we have a process where we can look at our money and do a quick check-in. We both understand it. And it's something that now is like probably one of the easiest aspects of marriage, because it's just really easy to check in and have total neutrality in it. So what I do now for my students is I help them get to a point of feeling empowered with their money, avoiding or ending their emotional, ending their like financial avoidance essentially, and then actually building up a system for them that's customizable, that works for them instead of against them, that is actually fun and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And so with that, it's not just hey, here's another system that you should follow. It's, hey, let's learn about you, because money is not the center of your world. Like, you are. And so taking you as the center of your world and then helping your money and your other tools and resources work its way around that is what I love focusing on, because then they can build their value-based life as well. And then it becomes like, money becomes this tool that is so freeing rather than restricting. So that's what I teach. And I love seeing the growth that everybody has, because it's different for every person.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was a lot, but
no, that's okay.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. It's just I need to find my handle actually.
It's Tabitha Woodward.
_. Okay. Yeah. So the handle on Instagram is Tabitha Woodward _. And then I am also doing like different public speaking events, everything like that, to share, just to kind of break down these ideas, because they're new to everybody. So being able to coach, you can find me on Instagram. I love being able to speak about this stuff, just because there's like a huge gap, and there's a huge like pain point. And then lastly, I'm also writing a book on it. So that should be, I know, I'm really excited. So, thank you. So being able to, you have every version of it too. Yeah. And so being able to write a book that should be accessible for sure within the next year.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to have it be out within the next 6 months.
That's good. So exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you guys again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So anniversaries aren't just about how long you've lasted. They're about how you've grown. So whether you're dating, single, married, or somewhere in between, I hope this conversation inspires you to reflect on what you're building. And remember that love is less about perfection and more about intention. Another year, another layer, another opportunity to choose each other. And if you know another couple whose story should be shared and celebrated, I would love to meet them. Send this episode their way and have them fill out the link in the description below, so we can celebrate their next anniversary too. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.